Just setting this up. Sharing that for now. How are you all? I hope you're well. For those that are watching this live, welcome to this week's video. What I'm going to do for the next 9 weeks is take us, be completely in the present with you, but I want to do is build your skills for leadership for the future. This is something I want to do for a long time. We spent the last 9 weeks focused on ourselves and on our own self-development and understanding who we are. And then this 9 weeks, what we're going to do is now say, given where we're going as a world and as a business context, you know, in terms of the way business works now, what are the skills we're going to need in the future? And let's prepare ourselves. Let's build those skills now so that we have them before it's too late. So let me share with you what the plan is. Let me not knock my computer over. This is the plan for the next period of time, for the next 9 weeks at least. So here it is here. I'm going to be talking about a bunch of things that I think are going to be really important for you, but important for your people to learn that work in your business. So we're going to be talking things like decision-making. We're going to be talking things around empathy. We're going to be talking things about educating, communicating. We're going to be talking things about negotiating, you know, things around how to communicate, how to work with humans. And then, you know, we're going to be talking about digital skills, AI bots, you know, helping people through change, entrepreneurial mindsets, and feedback. And these are all things that are going to be critical right now, but they're actually going to be things that are going to matter in the future. And this is why. Because if we go down here, leadership is in, well, like, I mean, the world is in transition all the time. The only thing that we can, I guess, guarantee on is that, you know, as soon as something is, you know, on its up, that there's going to be disruptive forces that impact that trajectory. And as we get this disruption now, I want to recognize that this disruption we get here is important. It's designed to be there because ultimately what it does is make our businesses more sustainable and stronger. And we can't control it. We can't stop it. All we can do is respond. Okay. Now, one of those forces that's happening. Just got a call from a client, which is really good news, but not when you're in the middle of doing a Facebook Live. What was I talking about? So we need to respond to those forces. Now, one of those disruptive forces is this, which is the idea of the whole digital transformation. Okay. Now let me just make that a little bit smaller so you can see it and read it. So this force is being, you know, is coming, and we've kind of got a little bit distracted by the pandemic. I reckon away from digital transformation, but also away from the big climate change need we've got right now, because that's the other thing driving a lot of policy right now. So I'm sort of thinking, okay, the pandemic is there, we've got to manage it. What are the skills that we're going to need as leadership changes in amongst those two big forces that are going to shape the future? And I want to also recognize that the you know, the fundamentals to some extent remain the same. And the way I think about that is in two areas. One is I talked about before when I looked at that list. There are a set of human skills. Okay, and what I mean by human skills is the way we communicate, the way we have empathy, okay, the way we connect and trust. All of those things remain fundamentally the same, but they're influenced by the channels and the technologies that are available to do them. And then increasingly, we're going to be tested on our technical awareness, because as every new generation gets more and more savvy with this stuff, they actually require us to be more digitally savvy, and they actually shift the way we use our human skills, because we use them on different platforms. Now, the trick is that these are the same, but they're linked. And so the things I'm going to talk about is really this here. Where is the linkage between the role of leadership in a digital climate-based age, as we kind of go through these transitions that we're about to go through. Does that make sense? If you're listening, let me know it makes sense. And just think about this for you. Okay, so which skills do you feel like you're going to need, and which skills does your business need? Ready? Okay, this is what we're doing today. We're going to do the first session on decision making. Now, 3 main problems with the way leaders make decisions in a digital age, right? With all this information around us. First thing is when you're perceived as slow. Okay, so in a manual world with low information, it was easier probably to make quick decisions. And actually, because things change so slowly, you could take a long time. Now, with the amount of data you've got, the amount of competitors you've got, and the pressure you've got, you can be perceived as slow when you're not making an immediate decision. The second is that there is so much data out there that, we can get stuck going down rabbit holes with getting things right. Like, I'm going to keep extracting information until I have every single thing I need to make the right decision. And that is linked to that, right? It's kind of, it makes us slow. And then the final thing is that, in a human space, we end up being too directive, and we reduce what they call the buy-in. So you think about that, really what that is, often we get, if you think about the brain, that's a very crude drawing of the brain. We get the head, we don't get the heart. Okay, which is the left, we get the left brain, we don't get the right. And so people understand what we're saying, but they don't believe in it. So we don't want those things. What we want is, we want to be able to choose the right mode for the right situation. Head, heart, or gut. And what can we trust, right? The ultimate outcome is that you can trust yourself, and you can back yourself with the mode that you choose. Okay. We want the right level of data to make the decision. We don't want overload. And this is linked to your own self-awareness. Okay. So how much information do you need to make a decision will differ between person and person, between leader and leader. And then what we want is, we want to make a collective, inclusive decision that actually empowers teams, clients, and staff. Well, we don't need, that's kind of teams, clients, and partners, other people in your broader ecosystem, for them to take action. Okay, not just you, but for them to take action. Okay, that's what we want. This is what we over here. We don't want this, but we do want these. Make sense? So what I would recommend is that you start to think about the fact that when you're placed in a decision, a situation where you've got to make what we talk about is if you go along on a road and you reach a fork, you've got to make a decision. Both of these, at a certain level of leadership, are right decisions. All right, both could be right. One of these could make money. One of these could be good for people. And then there could be a third that's good for the environment, which is also maybe right. And so the challenge is, how do you make that decision and balancing the right mode, the right level of detail, and it be collective? So this is how I think about that, which is that you want to be clear that there's sort of three modes you can get into. There's the head mode, which is based on logic, utility, and cost benefit. There's the heart mode, which is moral, ethically, and about focus, often about other people and about service. And then there's the instinctive opportunistic mode, which is very much the gut reaction. And all of these are based on awareness. Okay, so if you know yourself, which of these you tend to use and in what situations, and you observe yourself, that is the, that's the guts of what this is all about. So with the head, it's best in if-then situations when there's simple decisions to be made. I would, as much as possible, automate the data collection so that you're not spending time on that, and get other people to kind of provide you the data. The thing when you make a cold logical decision based on cost benefit is, have you got the buy-in? Because it might make sense to you. Are you able to communicate and make sense to other people? So great for simple situations, if-then decisions. A heart-based decision is really about weighing up impact. Impact on self, impact on team, impact on the environment, impact on family, impact on community, impact on client, impact on customer, impact on industry, impact on the world. Big, yeah? But it doesn't necessarily need to be slow. The way it can not be slow is if you know what your values are, and you know what your values are of your company and what you believe in. Values and understanding what drives decisions, both short-term and long-term, makes longer-term and complex decisions easier, because it gives you a basis upon which to decide, is it the environment, is it money, or is it people? And if you've got those baked into your business, it makes that sort of decision easier. Instead of being what's right, massive decision, you've got a guiding set of principles to make that. When you've got to make these types of decisions, they tend to be choices between three forks in the road. Give yourself some space. And then the final decision here is the instinctive opportunistic decisions. These are best when you've got little time or there's low consequence, or both. Be mindful that in most of these situations, your reaction, this is your reaction, instinctive reaction, response, and it's not always right. But when I say it's not always right, you can hone your instinct over time. And many people have built their instinct based on experience. And over time, you can learn to trust the instinct as opposed to, to not trust it, mistrust it. I don't know how you say that. Does that make sense? Now, be mindful of what mode you're in. Be mindful of what mode you need for different situations. And just let me summarize what we've been talking about. What we're talking about is leadership skills for the future, because there's the pandemic happening right now, but there's also some big changes in the way we live and work. We need both human skills and we need technical skills, and I'm going to be covering them over the next 9 weeks. And in this first session, I've talked about head, heart, and gut decision-making, and when to use each to make decisions in your business. Now, let me just, quick little call to action, quick little ask of you. If you're watching this and you're got to make a decision, let me know wherever you are. whether you're on Facebook, you're in my learning system, what decision do you need to make? And are you going to use your head, heart, and gut? Your head, heart, or gut to make that decision? And let me know how you go. Love your work. Talk soon. See you. Bye.